Hello, beautiful people. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and checking out this video. I'm Angie Sanchez. For all those that don't know who I am, it's a pleasure meeting you. In this video in particular, I'm going to talk about some growing pains, disguised under a quote. But it's been a while since I posted a video, mostly because I've been going through my own personal growing pains. And I just wanted to be in it and really reflect and really see what it was and the roots of where I was personally through my own growing pains. And what I realized was that whenever I faced a conflict, I reacted. And maybe this wasn't in every situation, but in some important situations that meant a lot to me. I realized that I reacted to a conflict or a particular situation based on a past memory. And so I started researching, what are memories? I realized that living in our memories is living in the past. I know a lot of people say, okay, be present, and I say that as well, but being present means being present. And what is living in the past is thinking about the past and thinking about past experiences and bringing that to our present or into our future. So in order to really pinpoint what those past memories were and why they were triggering certain behavior or certain emotions, I really had to dissect it. And I can honestly say that about 2 months ago, I would have never seen particular situations the way I see it now. So there's a lot of personal growth going on my end. I'm so blessed and so thankful. And I want to share with you guys in this video some growing pains, because it's not easy. There are moments where, it's like I should have life somewhat figured out by now. So just to admit that there are areas of growth, and not because of aha moments, because of moments where you hit a wall and you hit a wall once and twice and 3 times, and then finally it's like, okay, wait, I'm doing something wrong here. So that's where I've been, and it's a big ego check, and it's great. I truly love it, and it takes a lot of courage and a lot of guts to admit something like that. Even for you watching, even for me at any moment. So there's a really popular quote that's going around on social media right now, and it goes like this: if you want something to change, you have to do something different. Say it again. If you want something to change, you have to do something different. So what does a something different mean? Because if I just think about it from my, just surface point of view, I would think, okay, well, if I go to the gym more, then my physical body will change. If I stop doing this one habit, then perhaps I'll exhale in this other area. But these are all external things that we can do. So again, if you want something to change, you have to do something different. Now, the different comes from whatever your motivation is. So my own motivation is personal growth. I value personal growth so much right now because it's priceless, it's timeless, and you can only get more from it. Some people can be a certain status, a certain material possession. It doesn't matter. It's just your own point of view. Wherever you are in your life, that motivation is going to be your reward from the doing something different. Number 1 is taking responsibility. Taking responsibility for your actions, the things you say, the things you do. Why am I doing this? In the face of conflict, why am I reacting this way? I'll give you guys a personal story that I had. It's light. I was running late to the airport a couple months ago, and there was a coffee shop that I was planning to stop at before the airport. And so I called in my order, it was a tea and oatmeal or something. And less than a few minutes later, the lady calls back. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, but we don't have what you ordered, and so we have this other thing. And my reaction immediately was like, okay, well, just give me the tea. And I literally took a step back, and I was just like, oh my God, did I say that? But she continued with her, I'm sorry. And I was so consumed by packing and not missing my flight that I didn't even think about apologizing in that moment. And so a moment later, after we had hung up, I just like, whoa, and where did that come from? Like, that was not cool at all. And part of me was a little embarrassed. I was embarrassed for my behavior, for the way that I spoke to this young woman. So on my drive there, of course, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to, talk to this girl. And usually people don't really care, but if you're mindful and you're conscious of it, of course you care. So I walk up to the girl, and mind you, it's like a full coffee shop. I walk up to this girl and I'm like, I'm so sorry for the way that I spoke to you on the phone. It was completely inappropriate, completely my fault. I was running late for the airport, and I started going into my little thing, and I was like, wait a minute, Ange, this girl does not, she was hurt. Doesn't matter what my excuse was. But the fact that I apologized to her, I think not only did it give me a lot of courage and, again, taking responsibility for my actions, because I could have easily, pushed it away and just not even acknowledged it and walked in. And even though I knew what I did was wrong, but, there was something on my shoulders had I not apologized to her. So, again, taking responsibility. So that's one internal action of handling a situation. So going to the person and saying, yo, my actions last night were not cool. Like, just so you know, they're not cool. What I said was not in my character. I really want to apologize for that. What I meant was this, or clarify, or where I was coming from was this, or I realized that my reaction was based on this situation. So just really taking responsibility for your action. The second way to do something different is to go through an uncomfortable situation. So most of us, it's so easy for us to escape from a situation because we have our phones, we have the door, we have things to do in our busy lives. We don't have to necessarily put ourselves in an uncomfortable situation. I know for me, a lot of times that I've faced conflicts in past relationships was that I literally just did not want to deal with it. And I just wanted to walk away and not even hear the person or whatever it was. But by me not putting myself through that uncomfortable situation, it became a default. It became something that I did on a regular basis. Back to the coffee story. It was a very uncomfortable situation to walk up to this young woman who I should be an example for, who I should be a role model for, and apologize. And then on top of that, there's so many other people around that are listening and are watching this happen. So that moment was very uncomfortable. It was very uncomfortable in my own skin. I wish if I was a cartoon, I would walk in there with a paper bag over my head and talk to her and with my head down or something. That's how I felt inside, but that's not how I actually reacted or acted in front of her. But it takes a lot of courage to be in an uncomfortable situation, and from that, again, you get that inner pride, that inner confidence, that inner self-worth. And then it turns into that, well, if I'm going to be this way to someone and act this way, then my tolerance for someone to treat me this way is going to be different. It's going to be a higher standard. So again, those are some ways that you can take action on your end inside. It's going to, of course, it's not going to happen overnight. Sometimes you may have to go through certain situations 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, but hopefully you're able to handle it differently every time. So remember, take responsibility and put yourself through uncomfortable situations. That's where the growth happens. So wishing you all lots of love. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that it's helpful in some way or another. I'll be putting out more videos more often, of course. Thank you again for watching. Bye!